It's time for our political insiders. On the right, Abdul, Hakim, Shabazz. On the left, Kip 2. By this time next week, we'll know winners and losers. But at this point, how are things going?
I hope we'll know winners and losers. I mean, I think it's a close race in the presidential race. It'll be a close race in the governor's race. I don't think the Senate race is going to be very close, but I think the other two will be fairly close. Don't know the impact of Sandy on the election yet. I will say that Governor Christie came on TV the morning after the storm and was very complimentary of the president and FEMA and what the federal government has done in that situation. That can't do anything but help the president at this point.
I think actually there are a lot of people relieved to see something on TV other than a lot of political commercials right now. So Frankenstorm may actually be a saving grace. I think sort of the presidential race sort of freezes where it is right now because you can't really go out and campaign while tropical storms, depressions, hurricanes are hitting the eastern seaboard. I do think while all the polls say Mitt Romney has a lead in the popular vote by a couple points, it's still the electoral.
All the polls don't say that.
See, actually,
well,
if you let me finish, sir, I was going to tell you that it's the electoral math that matters. In electoral math, the president is ahead in like 8 of the 12 battleground states. They're tied for 2, and Mitt Romney's actually ahead like maybe 1. So the electoral math favors the president. Thank you.
Well,
only 2 national polls show Romney with a lead.
Let's say that Mr. Obama does win the electoral map, and then Mr. Romney wins the popular vote. Are we going to have problems next Wednesday morning as the country debates who really is?
You'll just run around here in Kip 2 saying he was selected and not elected, kind of like what they did back in 2001.
No, you won't hear that. It will be a problem. I don't think it'll be good for our democracy. I'll be consistent. 4 years ago, I thought it was, in 2004, I thought it was bad that we had a minority elected president in George W. Bush. This year, I hope we don't have the same issue.
And quick, do you think we'll have to go to the Supreme Court on Wednesday morning? Is Ohio going to be the next Florida?
I hope not, because we don't need this. This country has way too many problems that need to be worked out that we need to be spending time with court and making a bunch of lawyers rich.
President's had a consistent lead. Ohio, I expect him to win it.
They're the best in the business, the political insiders. You can watch them every Sunday morning right here on RTV6 on Indianapolis This Week. And we continue our conversation on the IndyChannel.com. Of course, you had a blog out earlier this week, which I read, and it already stirred the pot, where you're saying that Richard Murdoch may lose on Tuesday. You did not make people happy. I mean, I saw the people starting to post that you were crazy or that you were wrong.
Maybe a moderate conservative.
Most of the time he is, but I agree with him this time.
No, but I'm also intellectually honest. I mean, looking at the fundamentals and the dynamics of this race, it was already close to begin with. You had a lot of those Lugar Republicans in the donut counties that have been on the fence. All the anecdotal evidence that I've seen, people I've spoken to, folks who were kind of on the fence with Murdoch, they've all either taken down signs saying, I'm not voting for that guy. It has put Republicans in the position who've been trying to advocate for Richard Murdoch to try to get past, the rape, abortion, God's will content. So if people are going to get mad at somebody for being intellectually honest, so be it. But I'm not saying anything that isn't already being said in Republican circles right now.
I don't have anything to add to that other than I think that the next United States Senator is going to be Joe Donnelly.
I went to an event in Avon with Mr. Murdoch. In fairness to him, very welcoming crowd, a lot of applause, a lot of embracing.
Well, at the Republican dinner on Monday night, he got a standing ovation.
He got a staggered ovation.
He got a standing ovation, and Mike Pence was there with him, and I think that they are 2 peas in a pod, and I hope people on Election Day treat them as 2 peas in a pod.
He had Senator Jim DeMint of South Carolina campaigning for him last week, and the thing that I found interesting when I spoke to Senator DeMint was that he said that he needed Richard Murdoch, that if Richard Murdoch does not get elected next Tuesday, that could present a whole series of problems for the Senate if he's not the 51st Senate. If he loses, what does that mean for the party? Do they rebuild? Do they blame Richard Murdoch if he doesn't win?
It depends on what happens in the governor's race. I think that his loss will not deeply impact the Indiana Republican Party if Pence were to win. If Pence loses and Murdoch loses, then I think it's hopefully a wake-up call for the Republicans that they need to move a little bit more to the center.
I don't see that happening. I can easily see a situation where Richard Murdoch loses. I don't see a situation where Mike Pence loses. They're just too organized and doing too well going into the last week of the campaign.
Were you impressed at the polls? I know whether we believe them or not, show that Mr. Gregg did a better job, that his numbers went up after that last debate. Were you impressed?
Well, his numbers continue to go up. I saw a poll last night that has the race at 3 points, and I think the Republicans are getting very nervous with a week to go. The thing's getting very close.
Or
no, because for all intents and purposes, George W. Bush. Well, I'm getting messed up here. When John Gregg puts out a poll that says he's only behind 6, but won't give us a cross steps, won't tell us how many.
I just told you when we're down 3.
Where you did it, yeah. Open the kimonos and show me the numbers. It's that simple.
What?
Yeah. If you're not going to show us, the Democrats. demographics and the breakdown, the poll I'll believe the most is a poll that's being put out by Howie Politics and DePaul University. Is coming out later this week. That poll I would give the street cred to.
Did you say kimono?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said kimono.
And opening the kimono? We'll talk about that in the green room.
No, we won't.
He'll talk about it in the green by himself. On the right, Abdul, Hakim, Shabazz. On the left, Kip 2, the best in the business. And you're watching theindychannel.com.